As you now know from my last videos, FATF provided 40 recommendations that countries can use to counter the risk of money laundering and terrorist financing. We already covered a portion of those in part 1 and 2, so today I'll summarize some more in this part 3 of my FATF recommendation series. But before we dive into it, if you're finding valuable my videos, make sure you subscribe to Crime Agent and press the thumb up on this video. This will make it super easy for you to consume new videos going live on my channel, and it will allow me to create more contents for you. Now, with the housekeeping done, let's jump right into today's video. Hi and welcome to Crime Agent. This is my YouTube channel where every week I publish a new video to boost your awareness about AML and financial crime prevention. As I already covered in my previous videos what FATF is and why FATF provided those recommendations, today we can start immediately by continuing with the coverage of more recommendations, starting from Recommendation 18. So first and foremost, the 18th recommendation of FATF focuses on internal controls and foreign branches and subsidiaries. These recommendations make it a requirement for every financial institution to start programs that are meant to counter money laundering and terrorist financing. It states that all financial groups must implement programs against money laundering and terrorist financing, which must be applied all over the group. This also includes the requirement that all financial institutions must make sure that all foreign branches and major-owned subsidiaries should also apply the same measures against money laundering and terrorist financing. This means that even if a branch is in another country, the same FATF requirements as of the home countries must be applied to counter money laundering and terrorist financing. Recommendation 19, higher risk countries. Next is the 19th recommendations, which tends to put emphasis on higher risk countries. Not all countries faces the same amount of risk when it comes to money laundering and terrorist financing crimes. Some countries face a higher risk, and of course all financial institutions need to apply due diligence measures, but in these countries these measures have to be advanced. FATF recommends, in fact, that all financial institutions in these higher risk countries or jurisdictions need to apply enhanced level of reporting, restrict new branch and office openings, and even limit the amount of business relationships within the country. Also, this recommendation indicates that all these higher risk countries must take a step to advise all its financial institutions about the exact threat the country is facing when it comes to money laundering and terrorist financing. This needs to be done so the institutions clearly know all the country's weaknesses and can take the adequate steps to fight the risks. Recommendation 20, reporting of suspicious transaction. Moving on to the 20th recommendation, over here the FATF talks about reporting of suspicious transactions. FATF recommends all financial institutions to report any transactions that they think might be suspicious to their respective financial intelligence unit as soon as possible. By suspicious transactions, FATF means any transactions that might be the proceeding of criminal activities and are, for example, being laundered through that transactions or could be used for terrorist financing. The FATF recommends all financial institutions to report the suspicious activity right away, even if the transaction didn't complete successfully and no matter how much money is involved for the specific transactions. Recommendation 21, tipping off and confidentiality. Going forward, the 21st recommendation focuses on tipping off and confidentiality. FATF recommends all financial institutions in its member countries to have full protection from criminal and civil liability in case there is a breach in any restrictions or any information from a contract or legislative, regulatory or administrative provision that gets disclosed. The law needs to protect them even if they don't accurately know the underlying criminal activity and even if the illegal activity didn't actually occur. If they report their suspicions in good faith, the law needs to take actions. Furthermore, this recommendation also states that these institutions must be restricted by the law from revealing the filing of any suspicious transaction report or any information related to the report to anyone. What are your views on the FATF recommendations I have stated so far? Do you think those are broadly followed by the industry? Would a revision be useful anytime soon? Let me know what you think in the comment down below. And with that said, let's get back to some more recommendations to cover in this video. Recommendation 22 and 23rd. DNFBPS, which stands for Designated Non-Financial Businesses and Professions. By DFNBPS, FATF means any casinos, any real estate agents, any dealers in precious metals and stones, any trust and company service providers, any lawyers or any legal professionals or accountants. In this recommendation, FATF has also made it essential for all these DFNBPS to follow the proper customer due diligence and record-keeping guidelines as mentioned in the previous FATF recommendations. However, depending on the profession, some DFNBPS are also instructed to take additional measures depending on how much risk their profession faces of money laundering and terrorist financing. Moving forward, FATF 24th and 25th recommendations discuss the transparency and beneficial ownership of legal persons and legal arrangements. These recommendations focus on the fact that all member countries need to take actions against any legal person or legal arrangements that might be misused for money laundering or terrorist financing. FATF recommends all member countries to make sure that they get precise and enough information in real time about the ownership and control of all legal persons and about all express trust, which also include information about the settler, the trustee and any beneficiaries. All countries must use this information to make sure that no legal person or legal arrangement in the countries are being misused in any way for money laundering and terrorist financing. Recommendation 26. The regulation and supervision of financial institutions. The 26 recommendations of FATF talks about the regulation and supervision of all financial institutions. Of course, all the FATF recommendations are established, but someone needs to make sure these recommendations are also being followed by all financial institutions. And for that reason, the 26 recommendations exist. All member countries need to guarantee that all its financial institutions are being properly supervised to make sure they are implementing all the recommendations from FATF. Specific authorities or financial supervisors need to take any essential legal or regulatory action to make sure that criminals or their associates don't use any financial institution for the purpose of money laundering or terrorist financing. For this, all financial institutions must be licensed or registered and should be continuously monitored by those bodies. The 27th recommendation talks about the power of these respective supervisors. Their powers need to be enough so that financial institutions and all their activities can be properly monitored and their compliance with the FATF recommendation can be monitored as well. Moreover, these supervisors shall also have the power to inspect the financial institutions whenever needed. That means this supervisor can ask the financial institutions for any relevant information to inspect any suspicions or impose any disciplinary and financial sanctions. And if needed, this supervisor can also suspend the license of the financial institutions. Next, let's talk about the 28th FATF recommendation. This one focuses on regulation and supervision of DF and BPS. All designated non-financial business and professions need to be properly supervised as well to ensure that there is no risk of money laundering or terrorist financing. Firstly, in case of casinos, they all need to be licensed and respective authorities need to make sure that the essential regulatory and legal measures are being taken to ensure that no owner or management function of the casino is involved in money laundering or terrorist financing crimes. In case of all other DF and BPS, authorities need to effectively monitor that they all comply with all the FATF recommendations. Also, their monitoring needs to be through a risk-based approach. That means any DF and BP that is at a higher risk of money laundering or terrorist financing should be monitored more often. So for the last recommendations of today's video, we'll discuss the 29th FATF recommendation. This one focuses on Financial Intelligence Unit. FATF recommends all its member countries to establish a Financial Intelligence Unit or a FIU. The duties of these FIUs must include the analysis of any suspicious transaction and the analysis of any other information that might relate to money laundering or its predicate offenses, including terrorist financing. Also, this FIU must be an authoritative party and they should be able to obtain any financial or administrative information they might need for their analysis, and they should get the information also in a timely manner from all reporting institutions or from DF and BPS. And with that, I come to the end of today's video. As I mentioned earlier, do let me know in the comment down below your feedback on these FATF recommendations. Also, part 4 of the FATF recommendation series will be coming out soon, so make sure you press the bell icon so you can get notified and won't miss out on this final part as soon as it gets released. If this video was useful to you, you can show your appreciation by subscribing to FinCrime Agent and press the thumb up on this video. Also, remember to check the description of the video where you will find useful links, including how to become part of our community on patreon.com/FCAgent. And lastly, thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and until next time, see you soon.